the healing and transformative power of movement. I am still blown away, actually, by the fact that I got to be a rockhead in the Radio City Christmas Spectacular and have a 20-year professional dance career. And the reason that is a bit of a surprise is my journey began with a significant physical challenge. I was born extremely pigeon-toed. My legs turned in like this, and it required me to wear leg braces. The combination of the leg braces and being put into dance classes, ballet classes, worked as kind of a physical therapy to turn my legs out. The doctor suggested, and bring my legs back into healthiest alignment, and the doctor suggested putting me in ballet class as a form of physical therapy. And one would have thought that that'd be a pretty easy thing to do, right? Just take her to a little dance studio. We were turned away from studio after studio after studio. The teachers looked at this little girl with these metal poles down the sides of her legs that attached into the shoes, and they're like, I don't know what to do with that, right? Finally, one teacher said, oh, well, we'll set up a little chair in the studio and she can watch. So my mom comes back, not in my little chair, I'm on the floor dancing with all the other kids. I was hooked. Years of hard work, determination, and perseverance followed. And that's a lot of why I so firmly believe in the healing and transformative power of movement. The sense of freedom I had while I was dancing, my ability to process emotions and express myself all really fueled my passion. Also, and still to this day, actually then, but also still to this day, why when I'm dancing, I feel much more confident and much more attractive. And so those things empowered me to push past the many physical challenges I bumped up against along the way. After retiring to start a family, I found a new passion, and surprise, surprise, movement again. I became a certified Pilates trainer. And over the last 24 years, I've had the honor of helping literally hundreds of people break free from physical pain, yes, but also the emotional pain of not being able to trust their body to support them in everything they want to do. Things like just getting down on the floor to play with little ones and fur babies, and then be able to confidently stand up off of the floor with strength. When people look at me, they see a devoted mom and a successful entrepreneur with an infectious joie de vivre and a broad, easy smile. I was actually even nicknamed Smile in summer stock, Hampton, New Hampshire. I don't even remember the year, so I'm not going to go there. Yeah, so it wasn't always that way, though. I went through a very dark time, a time when my face felt too heavy to smile, a time when I was curled up in the floor, overwhelmed and unable to imagine, how am I going to pull myself out of this pit I've fallen into? A time when I was so gripped by fear about my future that I was in a constant state of fight or flight. It felt as if there was a tiger at my back, always chasing me. I'd lay down at night with my little boy to help him fall asleep, and I'd pray, God, please, just don't let him feel me shaking. One night was different. I took my sleeping pill and then my bath. And the next thing I remember, I awoke to discover my mom. She didn't live with us. What? No, I didn't do that on purpose. She said that she had raced over and pulled me unconscious out of the bathtub. When it hit me that my little boy had almost been left with the legacy of first having his family torn apart and then finding his mom drown in the bathtub, it made me sick to my stomach. I realized that God had sent my mom to save me for a reason, and I decided that I could no longer allow my circumstances to define me. So I surrounded myself with encouraging, supportive people. I leaned into becoming the best mom and Pilates trainer I could possibly be. And third, I got back into dancing, something I had set aside for far too long. That decision and those actions completely transformed my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping others transform their lives. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we can allow our circumstances to define us. Are you willing to take a look at what circumstances you might be allowing to define you? What decision are you going to make? What actions are you going to take to transform your life? Returning to dancing and working with my Pilates clients were essential to my healing process. Movement has literally been my lifeline, crucial to my recovery from depression, anxiety, insomnia, and panic attacks. And it's not just about the physical benefits, it's also about reclaiming joy, rebuilding confidence, reconnecting with who I truly am deep inside. And I'm a little embarrassed to admit it, but recently I found myself starting to slip back into that pit of nearly debilitating fear, really. And I was like, wait, how can this happen again? And actually in church, in the midst of all the voices and the praise music, I felt this wave of peace and calm and reassurance just wash over me. And I realized that also, like, movement from one place to another can help shift our mindset and put us onto a healing path. Have you ever been fearful when you needed to be courageous? I certainly have. I'd like to share a practical tool with you that's helped me, and hopefully it can be supportive of you if you find yourself in that situation. So if you're willing, I'd like to ask you to have both feet flat on the floor and close your eyes and start to connect with your breath, sniffing in through your nose and blowing out through your mouth. Maybe putting a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly, or both hands either place. There's no right or wrong. It's about starting to kind of connect in with your body. It's an embodied exercise. Again, sniffing in through your nose and blowing out through your mouth. And maybe notice where you feel the breath. Maybe low at your hips, maybe a little higher at your belly, maybe even higher at your chest or throat. No right or wrong, just noticing. And now on this next breath, I'd like you to go back to a time when you were afraid and you took a risk, and that moment of bravery paid off. And notice, how does that feel in your body? Maybe effervescent, maybe expansive, maybe really grounding. You feel really solid. Again, no right or wrong, just noticing. Does that feeling have a shape? Are the boundaries of that shape clearly defined, or are they kind of fuzzy? Does that feeling have a color? What do you see? What do you hear? Another breath deep in. Really allow those sensations to settle deeply into your cells. And with this next breath, I invite you to gently open your eyes and come back into the room with us. And so the next time that you're in need of being courageous, can you invite those sensations to bubble up out of your cells and really flood your body and flow through your body to help you transform from potentially fearful to courageous? When we look back on our lives, we often notice a common thread that has carried us through our most difficult or darkest times. For me, as I've shared, that's been movement. It has helped me face challenges, heal emotionally, and reclaim my strength when I was literally falling apart. Whether it's on a stage or in a studio or in everyday life, movement can bring strength, freedom, and healing, and now it's a gift I get to share with others. What if today you gave yourself permission to move? What if you gave yourself permission to move from whatever circumstances you might currently be in to the life you deeply desire and absolutely deserve? Movement, whether physical or emotional, can be your lifeline, just as it has been mine. And I'd like to leave you with a quote from Joseph Pilates. Patience and persistence are vital qualities in the ultimate successful accomplishment of any worthwhile endeavor. And you living the life you deeply desire is definitely a worthwhile endeavor. Thank you.